Well, in the developing story, a Crawford County man is behind bars after investigators say he violated his sex offender restrictions by teaching a class to children at the public library. I talked to the sheriff today about how it happened and what his office is doing to make sure it doesn't happen again.
It was a business in Van Buren and making the employee very uncomfortable with the way he was acting. And then they found out that he was a sex offender and notified the Van Buren Police Department.
Investigators say 42-year-old Nathan Matulewicz was a registered sex offender, and when deputies began looking into the complaint, they learned he'd been volunteering at the Van Buren Public Library.
The initial complaint was that he was teaching adults at the library. We went to the library and they said no, he was teaching kids.
Sheriff Daniel Perry says Matulewicz moved to Arkansas in April and registered with the sheriff's office, but missed 2 assessment appointments. Because he hadn't yet been formally assessed, Perry says Matulewicz didn't appear on the state's online registry.
When somebody would volunteer, they would pull up the registry, the state registry, to see if that person was on it or not. And this person was not on it until he was assessed as a level 3.
The Crawford County Library Board says its top priority is keeping families safe, saying, part quote, "It's now clear that relying solely on this registry is not sufficient. Moving forward, the library system will adopt additional screening measures and procedural safeguards to prevent any individual who poses a risk to children from volunteering or working in any capacity within our facilities." Perry says no children have reported any inappropriate contact.
We do ask that any parents that had kids at the library during that time or that may have attended that class to talk to their children to make sure there wasn't anything that took place.
Matulewicz was in court this morning. A judge set his bond at $125,000. Well, an investigation within the Department of Human Services is in jail and accused of sharing human videos of child sex abuse. Alejandro Hernandez was arrested Thursday, according to the Washington County Prosecutor's Office. A preliminary arrest report says a social media account under the name Juan Gonzalez uploaded the material. Investigators later found Hernandez was the owner of that account. They found more files during a search of his home. Hernandez was taken to the Washington County Detention Center. A spokesperson for the Arkansas Department of Human Services says he was fired after this arrest. Well, new at 10, a Sebastian County jury sides with a family in a medical negligence case. 5 News first told you about this back in July of 2022. She was the then executive director of the Greater Fort Smith Association of Home Builders. The video you're seeing is from interviews on stories we've previously done with her. The attorney representing the family says it was a 9-day jury trial that ended today with Stipend's family being awarded $15 million. Also new at 10, an investigation is underway in Prairie Grove after Arkansas Game and Fish say they got a tip about someone trying to sell baby possums. The tip included these screenshots from social media showing someone was selling them for $100,000 each. Game wardens were able to track down the seller, who was ticketed. Game and Fish officials are reminding people that selling wild game of any kind in the state of Arkansas is illegal.
It's pretty significant. It's something we want to make sure that people don't get involved in, don't do this, leave our wild animals alone, and let everybody enjoy them.
The penalty for doing so includes a $7,500 fine and up to 6 months in jail. And a decision is made in the lawsuit over the special election to fill the House seat in District 70, with the judge saying it needs to happen before March 3rd of next year. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders originally scheduled the election for June. It was one of the 2 lawsuits filed against Arkansas Secretary of State Cole Jester and the governor over special election dates. You may remember earlier this month, the judge ruled in favor of a man who filed a lawsuit over the District 26 special election to fill the late Senator Gary Stubblefield. Well, Fayetteville's Lower Ramble was full of spooky characters for this year's Trick or Treat on the Trail. Families were able to stroll along for music and candy for Halloween. The event's become pretty popular for the ghostly adventure, featuring more than 24 businesses and organizations who teamed up to put on the event.
It's my favorite day of the year. I'm so happy to see all of these ghouls and goblins out here getting their candy.
Having it at the Ramble instead of the square, the city says it gives more people room and it's just a better environment for the holiday. And check these babies out who are too cute to be spooky. These are photos from the NICU babies at Mercy Hospital. From Minions, the Hulk, even a mermaid, the babies were dressed up to celebrate their first Halloween. To see more of these adorable pictures, you can visit the hospital's Instagram page. And after tonight, many may be thinking of the holidays, including myself. And happening tomorrow is the 13th annual Arkansas River Holiday Market. This is video for the previous event. It's a holiday shopping extravaganza with more than 150 booths for you to look through to find the perfect Christmas gift. It's open from 9 to 4 at K. Rogers Park in Fort Smith. Admission is $5.